This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association. Your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Wednesday, November 15th, 2023. We're here at the Westin Hotel in Kansas City for the National Association of Farm Broadcasters Convention for the rest of this week. So glad you could join us for today's show. In today's episode, I talk with Bob Sinclair of Sinclair Tractor about a $600,000 donation they made to the Food Bank of Iowa. We also have a check of that ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day in the ag marketplace, we're talking with Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. Of course, we are here today from Kansas City, from NAFB Convention. Tyler, what's been going on in the grain markets today?
Grain saw a little bit of a reversal from the excitement early in the week, a little bit of pressure on corn and beans. There's some, the main story right now is the weather in Brazil. And, it remains hot. It's pretty hot and dry in certain areas, central and northern areas, and then too wet in the south, although some of those rains have backed off a little bit. It's mostly focused, the trade's really focused in on these weather forecasts and how they shake out. And so it's a lot like May and June in the United States, where every day we're looking at the Euro and the GFS outputs that come out throughout the day, and the market's going to react to those. And as the day wore on today, the forecast got a little more rain expecting to come in, not necessarily in the next day or so, but over the course of the next few weeks. Looks like maybe the pattern will shift to a little more moisture coming into those central and northern areas. That's will hopefully provide a little bit of relief for some of the soybeans growing in that area.
But even then, when we get those rains coming in there, especially Argentina, but Brazil as well, has been seeing those prolonged drought conditions. So it's kind of like how we are back here. That, they're going to need a pretty good amount of rain to really make any impact. And, if they get that rain, do we see the markets reacting to that or maybe holding off a little bit?
I think, you'll see the immediate reaction. The market's programmed to try to, it's a futures market. We're trying to predict what's out there with, several months in advance. And one of the things that I try to remind people is a weather market or production is always going to be at the behest of the weather. But it's not necessarily what is the weather doing today. It's the culmination of what weather does over multiple days throughout an entire growing season. And so, yes, it could stress it some here this summer, and their summer, I guess it's our fall and winter. But, and that could be very detrimental to the crop if it remains that way and we move forward and it remains hot and dry. That's not good for soybean production. But as we saw here in the U.S., I've talked to a lot of producers. I got some from my home area in central Iowa that, have told me all year how their corn crop, it was terrible. It didn't rain. They don't know, what they're going to have for production. They were afraid to make any sales. And they wrapped up harvest here a few weeks ago, and a couple of them told me they've got a record crop, best yields they've ever gotten off their corn and beans. So, it really boils down to when it does rain and how well these crops can withhold. I'm not going to make the case that soybeans should go screaming higher, and I'm not going to make the case that soybeans should be considerably lower. I'm trying to use common sense here with growers and look at what we've got in the bin and what our costs are. And if it makes sense to sell it, we're going to sell some, and we're going to look at some reownership strategies if we've got, a pretty good chunk sold already.
And then looking at the other side of the marketplace and the livestock complex, obviously they've had a bit of a struggle there recently, but like you mentioned earlier, a little bit of a reversal this week. What have we seen going on today?
We saw another $2 move up in the deferred contracts of feeder cattle. Your November goes off tomorrow, so there's not a lot of action there. It's down. You're probably going to see the index come down again today, which is going to weigh on that November feeder calf contract again tomorrow. But there's really no news per se. A lot of people thinking maybe this thing got overdone. I'll caution the people that get a little bullish on feeders that late October we thought it was overdone, and then we saw another $10 drop a week ago. So it feels like maybe it's on some solid footing here. I'm not going to say we're going to go and challenge the highs in the feeder calf or the fat cattle market, but the fat cash market, or the cash market and the fat cattle, never really did sell off like the futures did. Feeders did some, but they're kind of maybe bottoming here and finding some buyers again, and I wouldn't be surprised to see if that push up just a little bit here over the next few weeks.
And then, of course, as well, with the hog markets, we're looking at the holiday demand, and a lot of that is factored in already, as, of course, we're this close to Thanksgiving. But we see more and more people going after those ham products, especially for Thanksgiving, Christmas. Have we seen any demand factored in there, or, like I said, has it been pretty well put in the marketplace already?
It feels like it's been put in the marketplace. That hog market can do some strange things, as we've seen throughout the year. One of the things that we have noticed, the exports of pork was pretty good last week. There's some expectations that will remain high, and so I'm not. I'm kind of in that same camp. I'm not overly bullish on hog prices moving forward, but I'm also not overly bearish. It feels like some of that negative information has been priced in. Lastly, we talk a lot. We tie these protein markets to the financial markets, and the financial markets have been really strong for the last few weeks. Becoming less and less concerned of a recession looming. And some of that data that came out yesterday with the CPI kind of helped to show that inflation is slowing down, and maybe the Federal Reserve is going to start backing rates off a little bit here in the coming year.
All right, Tyler, lots of great information today. For those of our listeners who'd like to get in touch and learn more from folks at agmarket.net, how can they do that?
Check us out on the internet, agmarket.net. If they want to reach me directly, my number is 701-987-6009.
Thanks for taking the time to visit with us today, Tyler, and we look forward to getting more great market analysis from you soon.
You bet. Take care, Riley.
That again was Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. We'll go ahead and take a look at how those numbers close. That's courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. December corn is down 7.5 at 470 3/4. January soybeans down 4 3/4 at 13.85 even. December soybean meal down 4.40 at 469.20. Soybean oil up 30 cents at 53.05. Chicago wheat down 11.5 at 560.5. Minneapolis spring wheat up 3/4 at 735 1/4. Kansas City hard red wheat went unchanged at 639 3/4. December oats down 4.5 at 351 3/4. On the Merc, December live cattle up 192 at 177.77. November feeders down 62 at 229.42. December lean hogs down 125 at 71.05. Pork cutout down 35 at 81.67. And November Class 3 milk down 2 cents at 17.11. And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, I talk with Bob Sinclair of Sinclair Tractor. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Had the chance to catch up with Bob Sinclair of Sinclair Tractor last week after they made a $600,000 donation to the Food Bank of Iowa, further fighting against food insecurity in the state and doing their best to provide meals for those people who need the food, as well as help the food bank fully fund that new expansion that they made. We're here at the Food Bank of Iowa with Bob Sinclair of Sinclair Tractor. Bob, you guys are celebrating your 25th anniversary, and you've made quite the donation to the Food Bank of Iowa, so what better way to celebrate your 25th anniversary than by giving back, right?
Absolutely. We've been in business 25 years. It's just been remarkable here in the ag community in southeast Iowa, and we're looking to have a party with a purpose. And we'd been supporting food banks really since our beginning, and took the opportunity to combine our 25th anniversary celebration to gather together all our suppliers and customers and employees to do some great things for the food banks of Iowa.
And of course, with us being in that new expansion right now, that will go a lot towards making sure that expansion gets fully funded, and of course, getting more and more out to the people of Iowa, right?
Absolutely, and this new expansion here is just beautiful. So clean. Never been in a cleaner building in my entire life. This is just wonderful thing that this team is doing here to combat hunger in our corner of the world.
And of course, you guys, being in Southeast Iowa and being in more of that community aspect, you guys have seen firsthand as well that the community gives to you, and they help to support you. And of course, when you have those opportunities, it's very important to give back to those communities as well, right?
Absolutely. When you support your communities, they support you, and this is just a great example of what happens when we as an organization can partner with our entire community to support the rest of us.
All right, Bob, and is there anything else about any further efforts to support communities that our listeners and viewers should know about today?
I tell you, it's just we're just doing our small part, and we just call out on everybody else to continue doing what you do, what everybody does to support whatever side of your community that's important to you. For us, it's been the food banks, and I'm sure that everyone else has their own causes that they love as well.
And then, of course, with it being your guys' 25th anniversary, anything else that our viewers and listeners should know about just when it comes to the 25th anniversary of Sinclair Tractor?
I tell you, it's just been being able to start in business was wonderful 25 years ago, and culminating it, we had our party down at the Old Threshers fairgrounds down in Mount Pleasant, and to get over 10,000 of our customers and suppliers together to help us celebrate who we are and what we've done, and also to give back to food banks. That was the culmination of our year.
All right, lots of great information today. If anyone wants to get in touch with Sinclair Tractor or just find out more information, how can they do that?
Best way is sinclairtractor.com.
That again was Bob Sinclair of Sinclair Tractor. Let's go ahead and take a look at that ag weather outlook. Down here in Kansas City, the weather isn't too much different than it is in Des Moines. Looking at mid-60s across the state, increasing clouds tomorrow as well, but still seeing that unseasonably warm temperatures. So if you're having any of those Thanksgiving celebrations this week, or you're just hoping to get outside and enjoy some really nice fall weather, and now this is the time to take advantage of that. Let's see what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. As you can see from the National Weather Service, back in Iowa today, there are sunny skies statewide with those highs ranging from the mid-60s to low 70s. Tonight, mostly clear skies with lows ranging from the low to upper 40s. And tomorrow, increasing clouds and breezy conditions across the state with highs ranging from the mid to upper 60s. Taking a look at the affiliate weather map for tomorrow, Cherokee will see increasing cloudy conditions and breezy conditions as well with a high around 65. Shenandoah, increasing clouds and windy conditions with a high of 68. Des Moines, increasing clouds as well, high of 67. Waterloo, partly sunny with a bit of wind and a high of 66. Albia, much of the same, partly cloudy, high of 66. And Clinton will see increasing clouds as well with a high of 67. For a more detailed forecast in your part of the state, make sure to check in with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. That's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook, and that also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media at Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok. You can find our video content as well as previous episodes of AMPM on our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. Don't forget as well our free Twice Daily Market podcast on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the NAFB convention here in Kansas City, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson, Andy Peterson, and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.